Alright, what's up, guys? So, I normally don't do stuff like this, but I decided I wanted to point out some, I guess, like, issues I have. They're just my personal opinion, and this is kind of just, like, what I wanted to point out in the Mobile Legends community, from my point of view. So, I know I don't got, like, the biggest voice in it, or really influence, or I'm not even, like, the highest rank, but this is just, like, probably why. I don't even think I'm like relatively the best player. Just like playing. People in the community don't understand. I guess like when you solo queue, like how toxic it can be, especially when you like I was solo queuing in a match like earlier where I was against a full squad. You know how hard that is to face a full squad, and not saying the squad like if the squad's good or anything. Like you'll see mistakes that I made in this, and I probably should have picked a different setup, and that was my choice. But I generally play Bane if I'm going to push lanes. I always pick lane priority over everything. That's just my opinion. Like lane priority, getting the objective and getting done. That's why I don't really play marksman. I don't do ADC or anything. I push, and I generally play tank support, but I'm kind of like just, it's about to be the end of the season, so I'm just kind of like, whatever, we're going to all D-rank anyways. But I guess my main issue is like the matchmaking is so terrible, especially like in the United States, like when you play with like what just like Westerners in general, or like people that don't really know how to communicate, and the translation is awful. So like that lack of communication, like this is why I hate typing. Like if you're gonna type, just get a mic. Like use the mic. The mic is there. I would rather just talk to the person instead of them spending seconds typing out. I'll get to more of that later, but the point that I'm trying to make is the lack of good matchmaking. It is so bad. Like, and then you realize that you either like you could be I've carried matches where like I'm doing fantastic, and then you have one toxic person. I've seen like other people talk about it like in every kind of like mobile community. I know it's just like a mobile game, but like just MOBAs in general, like but like the toxicity that you run into is like really bad, and then like you become toxic because you just get angry. Like you're like, all right, I did like good like 5 days ago I did like great matches, but now I'm on tilt, and now like nobody's sticking to the lane and just pushing, and like if you look at the layout in this, we were never set up to do team fight. They always had the advantage in team fight, and they always would. They have a massive amount of crowd control, and they also not only crowd control, they have damage, and they could just literally just delete us at every single point. They had range, crowd control, damage every single time, and it wasn't. That's why I was just like lane priority, split push, stick back, play safe, push lanes. Like that's what like my primary. I'm not gonna act like I didn't die, and then towards the end I was just super irritated because like you get like people that are like you get teammates that are just like they focus on kills too much, and they focus on KDA. Like I've had negative KDA where I've won because I prioritize the objective. Like the objective is like the most important part, and that is the one thing that like what I don't think League's any better, but like I think like League, like in the mobile, like once it hits mobile, I think it's gonna be better. It's just a better community. Like I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion. I've never had that big of a problem. Then you get people that are like typing and typing and typing and like typing. Like just get a mic, dude. And I'm guilty of it here, and it's not. And I acknowledge like I used to be really I've been toxic in the game before, but like you get you get this aspect of like I love doing this, but it's like you get real tired of it. Like you're like what do I do? Like I just quit, and you almost want to. Like you're just like I don't want to play this anymore. But you put a lot of time, money, whatever into it. But if you look at like like the mistakes like I made, but you also look at the mistakes that other like your teammates made, and like point them out. You're like, hey, lane priority. Like you try to tell them, and then they get like super mad. They're like, I'm just gonna feed, or like they just like focus on your KDA and they don't focus on like the good things you're doing. Like, look, we did good here for a second. We were pushing. I was trying to like I literally like had to like rotate lanes so much that it was super bad. Like it was like impossible to keep up with it, and like no one's stuck in their lane. That was the problem. Like I tried to stick to one lane, but then like they're getting ganked by the whole team, and like you're like, all right, now I have to go join and go help them, or tell them to leave, and they don't listen. And that's the biggest issue in Mobile Legends in general. Is like nobody listens. Like people don't make adjustments at the right time. Like nobody wants to adjust. Everyone wants to play marksman. Everybody wants to play ADC, and they're like, then you gotta be a tank, and like I hate tanking in solo queue, because like when you tank, you run into like you have to literally and I'm just adjusting I have to adjust my build all the time. Like you run into such a like toxic part of it. Like you're like, all right, now I gotta play tank, now I gotta not be able to do damage, because tanks are like super underrated, and that's like a whole other discussion. Like they're doing like the season for like a better like tank. Like this is supposed to be the tank season, like the revival, because they acknowledge people were like, this is bad. Like there's no balance. Like we're just gonna like look how many mages they have. If you look at like the tank page, the mage, the fighter, all this. For the longest time, mages always got banned, and they come out like they're like super biased like on getting mages every single time. Like that, like every new hero comes out, it's either a fucking mage or a fighter. And like supports are super underrated, and like I hope they fix that issue at some point. But like when you go like deeper into like the real problem is like the matchmaking is really bad. Like and then people also pick heroes. They're just inherently, they see them as metas, and because they're metas, they think they're like, oh okay, I can carry with a meta. Like here, I got fucked. I shouldn't have faced against Gwen. She gets way more health than I do. I generally try to check the menu as much to see what they're building so I can counter build. But I was push bot. You know, I was trying to communicate, and, like get some lane priority right there. Like if they would have pushed bot, I think we would have been fine, because they would have either redirected and then I could have pushed top. But that's just like. I look back at it and go like, wow, you know, I made a lot of mistakes. I should have just been like, hey, someone push bot, I'm going to go mid. Because ultimately, that's the best part about Bane. Is like the build that I build is try to keep him a little tanky, do damage in team fights. I'm trying to tell them, like, we can't team fight. If and when we can get in team fight, we can maybe do it. But, like, they had so much CC, it was like, it would have been impossible. Like, they had a Kai, they had Guinevere, they had Gord, all CC. All damage. They had Aldous, who's super deadly late game. He's almost impossible to kill once he becomes late game. It's almost impossible. Like, and then Carrie, super, like, she doesn't even have to be a late game hero, but she can be a late game hero. She does true damage, and like this is where like, and then we have a Hellkurt. Like people play Hellkurt. Like he wasn't ganking at the right time, and then we have Wen, and people are like. Like she wasn't hitting her marks. Like, you know, I could go on like the list of everyone. We had Farsa. People just pick metas because they think that like, well, I'm a meta, I can just do all this damage and kill them, but without actually knowing like how to play them. Like, I'm not gonna. And people are like, oh, you know, you're KDA. And then here's where I made the mistake is I started to become toxic, and I started telling people, like what they should focus on and when I shouldn't have been doing. And this is something that like people shouldn't do. Like they should acknowledge like, hey, don't be toxic, don't be typing, just use your mic. Something that like I'm like every team that like I ran with like on where we had a mic, we had good communication, we had exponentially well-rounded like better chance of winning. Something that like, you know, most people like misunderstand. And then, but like, you know, when you're facing, and like, I guess like, I'll just leave it at a note here. It's kind of cut up because like the video ended a lot sooner than I thought it was going to, but this is just like a second input. Don't be toxic, don't do what I did, but like Mobile Legends needs to like come up with a better system for people to be able to connect. And I don't know, maybe I'll like rethink it, and then people don't understand like lane priority and like learn their roles. Like that's just like in my opinion. But thanks. Have a good day.